Welcome back. RRR is on the verge of defeat. They got a few kills. They got some objectives, not on the second map there, but they are struggling. G-Clef. The first draft was
big time.
It was bad. The first draft was pretty bad. It was pretty weak against what L5 had picked. Game number 2, they came with a stronger draft. They had the early game tanks. They had the ETC, but they just couldn't win out in the end. The positioning mistakes that we saw from Oduck, I think, were the biggest problem in the early game. He kept getting his health pool burned down, then had to stay back, so Oreo couldn't get the hope. And is drafting the problem? Not necessarily. I think the draft for game number 2 was good, but I think morale is definitely pretty low right now.
And talking about morale, maybe Morales could have been a better support in terms of if you cannot get the hope, no healing. So I think Morales just on Vala could have been the better option, you know. Of course, Morales not really making an appearance at all. Sometimes in practice, but not really in Korea at all. In other regions also, but maybe sometimes the surprise picks would unexpected would actually bring a win towards you, or at least a little better result in terms of what happens in the game, even if you lose the game. That if you sometimes, even if you lose the game, the pro gamers, if they play well, if they play what they have promised, they are satisfied because they actually bring that into the gaming. That's an improvement. I want to see that coming out from RRR right now. And if they cannot do it today, maybe next week, maybe against a few of the weaker teams. Maybe if, because they didn't have so much time after the loss, hard loss after MVP Black yesterday. Maybe with the week break, they will be better.
It's going to feel like coming out of a hyperbolic time chamber after fighting Black and L5. Everything else is going to feel like easy mode by comparison. So RRR definitely has their toughest week this week. They'll eventually, you know, make those improvements that you are talking about. You have to think. Our map is going to be Cursed Hollow here, so Cursed Hollow to start things off for perhaps the end of our series. And yeah, they still have to face Tempest as well, but otherwise it should get easier from here for RR. Now they have first ban. Let's see if they go down the same path of trying to grab the Ariel pick. We saw the first pick, Illidan Tassadar against Ariel. Didn't work out for them. They went into Ariel in game 2. They could do it again here now that they have first ban. The time already ticking down here, though. Okay, they will remove the Illidan.
And they want to open lots of options for them, actually. In L5, this is the map. They will out-macro if RRR does not go global here. There's again G-Ban. Of course, very expected. Let's see which support. Actually, Avatar this time. And EZZ has been playing Avatar a few times, and maybe they'll go in back to Open Division level, and not level, back to Open Division days, and go with the Avatar Zeratul. I think, and they made some great plays with the Void Prison coming around, getting solo kills with the roaming. That was possible a few times.
Well, I thought maybe, camera's on Jungha here, I thought maybe he would pick the Zeratul to deny that pick if he had the expectation it's coming. He might not know those old days from the Open Division. He might not have been watching or following it as much, because in those days when RR was the top of the Open Division getting there, L5 was the king of the pro scene. So why watch the peasants play when you're the king? So they might not know about that combo, although it has been used obviously worldwide and it's an old historic combo. It's not necessarily one that L5 is worried about right now.
And with a solid tank, and Luther picked up already. Ariel is still available, but I don't think Ariel is the best option for RRR, as we saw in game number 2. If you cannot get hope, cannot get heal. So maybe going for other supports, maybe even bringing the Karazim, having the Palm available for the extra protection. There are lots of other ways you can go around here. Of course, take a look. Prefers to play Malfurion over all the other support after the nerf onto Malfurion. Seems like he has been losing his hero pool, trying lots of things.
Well, we see finally Greymane. This is the hero that RRR has played more consistently than any other hero in this tournament by a million miles. And so finally they're going to go back to what they're more used to here, the more comfortable. Not the Zeratul, but it is the Greymane. A lot of those 35 games played were by Oduck himself on the Greymane. So for bans here, we might see the Tyrael ban. I know L5 would definitely consider running it themselves. will ban out the Rhaegar instead for the support choke, talking about Tekaluk as you did. And with Stitches already on the table, might not even see the Tyrael. We've seen it in the past before with double tank with the Stitches, but the Rhaegar ban is more reasonable.
Yeah, Uther Ariel has been the super pair for support and doesn't want to limit that out with the super sustain. So there goes the second ban for RRR. And with the Stitches, we did not see any follow-up in game number 1. Maybe this time, maybe they will go towards a little more mage with the Kel'Thas, maybe make appearance with the CC. Graviton Lapse will bring in the CC after the hook. I think they will have the burst damage with the Greymane. Possibly getting those hooks, getting those picks before the team fight will of course help them catch all the macro of L5.
Well, tank on the board for L5. They have Uther, but not the Ariel. See if they want to run double support with Rhaegar already banned. Pretty unlikely unless we see a weird support here like a Tyrande or something coming out. If they want to run a heavy melee hero, there's just not a whole lot left. I like the Tracer. I was going to say, you want to have like a carry hero with this. You run the Tyrael. Maybe you see like a Thrall or something in the old days, not nowadays. That would never happen. So the Tracer's a solid pick. You have the Tastar to back it up. And the 5th pick, they can flex into so many different heroes if need be. Cassio was one that we had to keep in mind, but less likely now that the Ariel was banned. So there you have it.
Well, Cassia is still a very good pick against Greymane coming in. We oftentimes saw Cassia as the counter, but Tracer has been a very surprising pick, not making often appearances in L5, and both MVP Black and MVP Miracle choosing Tracer sometimes too. This is a big map. When they do not have the global, maybe this last pick will be Dehaka all-in Tracer, just leaving all the damage, getting those pulse bombs, and focusing on the perfect target with the CCs. That may be enough for them to get the kills.
Could be time to lock in RRR. What's it going to be here? Karzi maybe for the Abathur pressure. Brightwing for the global, and Sergeant Hammer. Well, I guess we've gone full circle on this draft. So I guess it's going to be EGG on the Hammer against a Tracer. The Brightwing Poly can be strong against Tracer as well, but I'm not sold on this one. You don't have much in terms of a really strong solo laner. It's going to be Brightwing, I guess. I guess. And then you have Abathur, could soak a little bit of extra with the global there. But the Hammer is vulnerable.
Yeah, Sergeant Hammer, after a Tracer pick, seems very questionable. And that Siege mode seems like we're not going to see too much Siege mode in this game.
Well, if we do...
if we do, there will be a pulse bomb stuck on your face the entire time. So it looks a little bit tough. And bringing in Chen. So leaving everything onto the front line to tank all the damage of Hammer, even Greymane Cursed Bullet coming out, leaving all the damage to Tracer, and seems like they have burst damage. Even Chen does so much damage, so much harass to the back line.
So much dive on the side of L5. The damage, though, is in the Tracer. Very greedy composition from L5. If they lose the Tracer, they will lose most team fights, very likely. So they're going to have to be careful about it, but they have so many different tools to get the squishes in the back lines with this dive. Can RRR turn this around, or is L5 going to speed run their way out? We're going into Cursed Hollow to find out. In blue, Hooligan on Anubrok, SC on Tracer, Jungha on Chen, SDE on Tastar, and Swoy on the Uther.
On the other side, RRR, Odok on Greymane, MSG on Stitches, EZZ on Sergeant Hammer, Kong on Abathur, and take a look on Brightwing. Okay, this is a little change. This time, Kong on Abathur, which he is shot calling for the team, so his map awareness will be a lot better, I think.
Yeah. Also, you know, Kong used to play these types of heroes in the past. Like Abathur is definitely one of his old heroes that he played like 2015, 2016. So not out of the question for him to play this. So Jungha's just going to sit here and mitigate this damage. Actually, a ton going on to MSG. Jungha's looking for the kill here. Almost 1v3 with him just walking into the turrets. Tracer's coming over. He's about to have another blink. This could still be the pick. Fortunately not. Jungha wanted it so bad. It will not happen. So Abathur actually gets a lot of free soak in bot right now.
That was a very well done early push. They wanted it and they did it. I think they got the tower. I think that was enough. They have an early lead, of course. HGC will have a hard time against the Tracer. And also Tastar Storm does a lot of damage if you stay on that for a while.
As far as the Brightwing teleport in, they're really concerned about this aggression in the top lane, which gives Nubrock some opportunity to push mid. Chen did go bot, but you can see already the value of the Abathur teleportation, the burrow down to the bot lane. They're using the global power really well, actually. It gives them a slight EXP lead. That's what you can see on those EXP bars at the top. The value already being given. And another thing I wanted to mention earlier, too, is part of the reason why Hammer's so bad against Tracer is her mines will just simply be blown up in an instant by the auto attacks from Tracer's guns. Another small thing, right? Something I wanted to bring up just because I'm watching it happen over and over and over again, so removing a lot of that DPS.
With the upgrade onto Shooting Mist, the range, Kakalug is healing them for the sustain for a while. But there's a good hook, but actually Poly got to
no divisional shift, but the pulse bomb comes in, and Hooligan is coming up here.
There's a counter punch, and they're onto the chase. And talking about Tracer, you cannot stop the chase if you. That was close.
If Hooligan's initial Impale had hit EGD instead of Tekaluk, that would have been a kill for sure. But still, or keeping it competitive. This is their best game so far when you look at the three.
Ooh, Poly again onto Tracer. Does
stop
have
the recall.
Whoa. Okay. MSG is much better than Kong and Stitches. I'm calling it now already after watching 2 hooks.
Yeah. 3.
Whoa.
SDE is here to help out. SDE just going to lifesteal his way back to decent amount of health. Fast regenerate on Tracer anyways. Well, the first tribute is now live at 255. So, see if RR contested. It's a very neutral spawn in the bot lane. Abathur immediately goes to the opposite side to get bush soak, body soaking in the top lane so he can get soaked while also having this symbiote down here onto Oduck. Jungha's going to be dove upon, but here comes the stun coming up. This time it's the double. Follow-up here from Swoy, and unfortunately, a non-warranted dive there. Jungha having so much shields from his brew. And already, this looks to be a 1 tribute right now. SC dodges this hook finally, but the hook's angle was at least very good for MSG.
That's right, and maybe he thought it was enough with the Abathur hat on top of him, but he was overextending a little bit. There's a kill already. Greenman has to. It's going to take a while. They do have the poke. A little sustained, but here comes a dive onto Sergeant Hammer, and they are into. There's a big wall in between, and Tekalug will get taken down. Brightwing is, and they're onto the chase. They cannot stop Tracer. No CC.
Tracer body block. When you know when that's going, when a Tracer's body blocking, something has gone horribly wrong. That's going to be another pick here. 4 kills to 1. Abathur got some extra soak done in the top lane, though, and did push that fort down, so that's the light at the end of the tunnel here for RRs. The Abathur pick is getting value. The global is working out for them a little bit. So that's something that at least they could be happy about, forcing Abathur up to go up there and clear it, make sure the fort doesn't go down. But the tribute's the bigger story. Not going to be untouchable for Tracer either, which I thought we might see, just given the draft here and how likely it was that we're going to see a lot of picks.
Yeah, because there were a lot of protections available. Jungha is going all in.
I have to assume that he tried to dive EGD to get a pick. I'm not entirely sure why he was back there otherwise. I just didn't see. Okay, that's another kill here for RR. Jungha has definitely made some greedy plays today that did not pay off, especially if you look back at his 2-minute Spider Queen game especially. Hey, it's happened.
Hey,
Rich did it too.
He's drunk, so sometimes things happen when you're drunk. So.
Too much brew.
Too much brew, there we go. And the damage is onto SCSC with a lot of protection. 3v4 here. Nubrock joins the fight from the side. Hooligan stalling time.
So many ways to stop
There's
the
a dive,
here.
and there is no healing coming out from Brightwing.
Oh, nice hook here. Hooligan probably doesn't have burrow charge because he just used it. So that's actually another good hook here for MSG. They should be prioritizing Stitches a lot higher in draft if they can actually make these hooks happen without even having much fall, really just the polymorph. If they had drafted around the Stitches more, I think they'd be better off. But Junga does get knocked away. EGG with a nice sick save there. MSG with another hook on his teammate there. The helping hand. Oh, but SC's going in.
Going in, and he still has a pulse bomb available, and the recall is there too, so he doesn't even need it. It seems like he's looking for another kill. He will get it.
Proxied between forts here. They are diving the team, getting the heavy kills. The hammer pick into this dive comp. Definitely going to be very difficult to find value to get extra damage with the pick. And so now L5 will grab this tower. They're on curse point. I say tower, I mean fort. They grab the fort. They're going to get level 10, their heroics. And they may just take this opportunity to take boss before the curse.
Yes. But at least this time, they've caught up a lot in the level because they had the Avatar soaking top this entire time. So the level difference is not the biggest one yet.
This is true because of Abathur, but this is the fight they need to win now. They have heroics, and they need to make them worth it. EGZ actually grabs the Napalm Strike, which we weren't sure if she was going to do. Perhaps the burst could have helped them kill Tracer. Held it for a second, but just for the tribute deny.
Emerald Wind to counter all the dive in. Let's see if it's worked.
SC is super low.
There's a clone from Kong trying to look for a kill, but that action is on the other side, I feel like.
Yeah, the other side is definitely what we need to be watching here. SC was going to get away no matter what, but clone's down now. SC's going to come back tapped up. Swoi very willing to die here because he knows he's going to give extra heals if he does. Perfect
Cocoon onto Brightwing. Seems like Emerald Wind will be used, but not in time already. Maybe it's canceled before.
Yeah, looks like that's what happened. Tegaluk is going to go down. SDE will fall during all of this, but it is going to be a 4 kill. It looks like Oduk no way out here. Abathur trying to help him out with the symbiote. He's going to go down. Abathur's already working on repositioning here, or he's going to find himself dead to minions in the bot lane. Gets a second symbiote here. Hooligan's going to have to hit that burrow charge. Here we go. He misses it, but this forces Oduk the wrong direction. The Impale connects, and that is the kill. Tribute here going to mean a massive lead for L5. They could take this, grab EXP in all the lanes.
This will be a big gap happening for L5 for sure. And Tracer has been super aggressive, but the clone double gray main does put a burst of damage. Even SCSC has to be careful. And I thought that teamfight was going pretty well. I guess Emerald Wind getting cancelled because of the Cocoon was one of the biggest things. They could have really... We saw Emerald Wind happening in Korea as somewhat of a counter to all the dive. I think Tegaluk can make it happen for the later teamfight.
Needs to make sure he hits it in time, though, as timely usage is important. The polymorphs, he's been using them very well to counter the dive initially, but the curse expires here, and it's not a massive lead for L5. This is the closest game we've had in this series so far. I know if you're coming in late and you hear me say that, you look at the score, you're like, well, are you sure? But it is the case. The RRRs made the Abathur pick work really well for Globals. Now, this is a smart move as well. Knowing that the boss is being taken for L5, they just grab the extra soak bot lane with Abathur and take their own boss. So it's a boss for a boss. Very wise choice by RRR. Good decision making very quickly on the fly.
This is the kind of shot call and the macro followings that I wanted to see, even though they're down on talent. L5 also did not go full in aggressive and invading onto the other side. But the thing is, they're both losing fort, and now they're going all in with this aggressive invasion onto RRR's camp.
The full keep wall is up for L5, so they're probably not going to lose a keep. It'll get damaged if they completely ignore the boss, but because they have siege giants with this, and they have good siege with Tassadar, as you can see, they're just trying to poke down RRR. Because RRR has Sergeant Hammer, though, you would think this would be a
cleanse.
Kind of a crazy move, but this is what the dive is all about. Hooligan comes in, pulse bomb. How did he hit that through 3 people? Still connects onto EGD. The clone is down, and the boss is wailing.
Crazy good, and did still a lot of the time. There's a hook, does miss from the ship. They got what they needed. They didn't get a kill, but they pushed enough, and this boss has been doing so much damage for L5 right now.
Yeah, I feel like this was kind of a... Even though the fight was really cool for L5, we saw the dive come in, it was very haphazard, right? The pulse bomb connected, but didn't get the pick. And you're diving in with the boss. You're trying to siege up, let the boss go to your keep against the Sergeant Hammer. The siege damage is better for RR. They have Greymane for the cocktails. So kind of an interesting decision they decided to go with that one. I think probably just hoping that they were going to get the wipe to end the game. Did not work out that way, and Jungha now overextended here. Will, of course, use his Storm, Earth, and Fire. That's the kill onto the real Greymane, though.
It was a bait, actually. First bullet was used in Cocoon to trap all of them. Now it's onto the chase. Easy even thrusters will not save her. And take a look, is onto the other side. Does not have the blink, and face is even cancelled from the hammer there. Ice Block will just buy time.
Ice Block on a slightly longer cooldown to that death timer, though. I guess you could argue it helped Stitches to survive. SC's is going to get the first tribute for the next wave of Curse here. And not a whole lot of objectives now for L5 to take with this massive advantage. They're just going to go ahead and take their camps. And that's going to be it. Because they allowed the boss. Let's talk about something like really high level. We talk about what maybe letting the boss hit the keep wasn't the best idea for L5. It didn't really do too much. They didn't get the keep of their own. They did it against the hammer. But they also knew, like, if we get like really high level, if you look at the top push up there, it's very difficult for RR to use the top lane to soak anything now. It's so far away from them, and they're behind in EXP. They want to soak up to 16. They want to get 20. So the boss that they left there means that that top soak is just never available for RR now. So that's very frustrating, and that's one like super high level reason why L5 did not, go defend the boss. They went for the dive there. They let the boss do its work because that just zones the EXP away from RR now.
Yep, that's another reason. And now this a little lucky tribute for our in terms of L5 too, when they have the upper hand in the talent. So RR not even going to contest because they have to clear all the pressure from the bottom lane and the middle lane. Not just even the team fight. The Emerald Wind has been somewhat effective, but not enough. Odog has been overextending onto Chen when Chen has his heroic available. And oftentimes he was caught, and the chase is so real with the Tracer, with Anubarak, the entire dive comp. And without the Emerald Wind, RR will be chased every single time.
Well, top lane's back up there, easier to soak. The play from RR now, I mean, I don't know what they can really do. They use Abathur's Symbiote to soak the extra part of the top lane there. I suppose you could argue they could make that happen. The lane did get pushed in by the Siege Giants that were taken for L5 anyways because they just painted what was left on the map blue. They got to 16 using the Abathur soak. They've been using all game, so even though the game has been pretty one-sided in terms of structures, team fights, and objectives, RR stays even in talent tiers. They look for another team fight. They're always still in this until the keep goes down. That's when you're really worried. So RRR, they need to get this tribute because if they don't, the curse is against them. Bosses are about to come up. They need to start this fight off right.
They do have the burst damage. Jungha goes in. There's another Stitches clone, but the real one is already dead. Oh my, this looks disastrous already. Take a look, is looking for his life cleanse onto Jungha. There's Emerald Wind, just for the defensive use.
Well, that's a lost fight for RR. They only lost Stitches, and they lost the Abathur clone, but the tribute is going to get channeled now, and that is just going to be massive shove onto these keeps. Already L5 is working for this. They just send SC up there to grab it because he can just blink his way back in. As you can see here, gets dismounted by the Abathur nest, but coming in now, and they're just going to work straight for this keep. The rest of the lanes will push naturally. RR needs to have a miracle defense here. This could be it for this series.
Stitches is coming back. There's a dive from Hooligan, does not find the target, and Cocoon is not available for the extra 6 seconds.
Okay, Oduk is the one who eats the pulse bomb. Still has a decent amount of health left. Hooligan actually got very, very low from this. Remember, none of these keeps are firing because we're during Curse, so the dive is real. Hooligan comes in, very, very low, gets taken out here, gets the Cocoon though.
There's a clone with the double Greymane now. They're buying a lot of time though. They still lost their Stitches, but they got a kill, and they bought so much time actually.
They might be able to save these keeps. Jungha's going to go back in though. They turn this onto Oduk. EDD eats the pulse bomb hard. The heals are coming in here now, and this is a big problem. There's the kill on EDD. Jungha survives all of this. They will get the keeps now with the picks. The turnaround was real. Almost a defense for RR. almost the savings of the keeps. Well, this is actually likely to be game as Tekaluk will ice block temporarily. Will get picked off regardless. The body blocks are real. Look at the minion wave. It's on the core here. These heroes are doing free damage, the three of them. Only one left standing is Kong on the Abathur. His symbiote is trying to do what it can here to defend, but it looks like this is going to be game over. The 3-0 for L5.
It's going to be with the Archon with the last bit of damage, 3%, and that's core, and that's the end of the series. Going to L5. RRR, of course, with the defensive moves, they had their chances. I thought MSG with the stitches was so much better. Those hooks were actually very accurate. I gotta say, the poly were pretty good. They got a few kills. If they work on that a little bit more, even if they're against a stronger team, if with a little brush up to it, I think they can have lots of picks and make a big comeback into the games.
Yeah, I think that we saw signs of life with the Stitches hooks. The Abathur soak, the symbiote there, getting a lot of extra value. The body soaking we even saw, he was able to soak 2 lanes sometimes in the top and in the mid. Kong was, just depending on where the symbiote was at all, but getting some body soaks off when they knew they were going to lose the tribute, kept the EXP even, made the Abathur pick look good. The clone usage was good overall as well, but L5 just had the better team fighting again. They're, world championships back-to-back, 2-time. And so when you have a team that just barely got through Open Division, failed in promotions, as I mentioned before, at the Crucible, the gap is wide, right? But there are signs of things that you can see that RRR is learning. And I think that prioritizing Stitches in the draft is definitely something that I think they could do. They could take that one big point, run with it really hard, while Stitches is still very much in the meta. Take that as a tool going into their matches next week.
And of course, Hooligan, as we pointed out, which has been the weak link, I think, of the team from L5, from what we saw from their match against MVP Black. Of course, going against the weaker team today made it really shine that he was using Cocoon, using the dive at the same time, which he did not last Sunday. So it's already showing good signs of all the team coming together with more practices. I think L5 will do a lot better when they have to face against later Mighty, so to say. So there are still lots of stronger teams left, and they can still climb up with this better teamwork. And on the other side, though, RRR, it's very hard. They lost their tough matches, but bringing the Stitches, I think we saw some brightness, I think, as you mentioned, and it's very tough. It's tough for them, tough for us, tough for you guys to watch them, but we can at least see some improvements.
Yeah, definitely. So who's your MVP, if you had to choose?
SCSC, of course, playing solidly. Jungha overstepping a few times. Swoi with the good cleanse and a strong support line from the back line, but we'll get to see very soon.
I kind of want to say SDE myself, but we will find out as we head into this. We hear the trumpets. That means that tonight is coming to an end. We're going to hit that interview. G-Clop's going to translate it for you guys. I'm just going to listen.
자, HGC 코리아 오늘의 두 번째 경기 L5와 RRR, 특히 L5의 SD 선수와 함께합니다. 안녕하세요.
From L5,
안녕하세요.
hello.
자, 오늘 1승 추가했는데 오늘 좀 소감이 어떠십니까?
With one more series, how does it feel right now?
블랙한테 너무 압도적으로 져서
I think we
다른 경기를
lost
좀 압도적으로
pretty bad
이겨야
against MVP
생각했어요.
Black.
그래서 되게 열심히
It was a very
준비했고
dominant series.
최하위 팀이지만 저희가 질 수도 있다는 생각으로
Even though RRR is the lowest team,
그래서
we had a mindset that we may
자,
lose games off of them, so we didn't let our guards down at all.
어땠었나요?
팀
How did you guys
분위기는 원래
prepare for today's match?
친한 사람들끼리 모여서 그렇게 뭐 축
Actually,
처지거나
how did you guys
하지
prepare the
않았고
team with the new roster?
그냥 더 열심히 하자 그런 분위기였던 것 같습니다.
I think we tried to find
네,
the
그래서
ones who
이제
could mash in together.
이제 이전 시즌에 비해서는 사실 부족한 부분이
Compared to
많다라는
last
그런
phase
평가가
with the new
많잖아요.
roster,
네,
there's
이걸
lots of
채워나가기
criticism that
위해서
L5 is
어떤 부분이
weaker compared
필요하다라는
to
그런 피드백이 좀
previous
있나요? 팀 내에서?
네, 팀에서
roster?
많이 있는데 일단 메인 오더가 지금 없는 상태여서
Right now, we do not have the main
오더가
shot caller.
누가 하는 사람이 딱히 없어요.
네,
그래서
There's not a
저희
dedicated shot
알아서
caller.
잘하자. 없는 사람의 빈자리를 채워줄 사람도 없어서
And oftentimes, we
그냥
just
알아서
try to
잘하자
do all
하면서
our roles
그
in
방법으로
together. We don't
게임을
really
최대한
have
많이 하자.
네.
a dedicated
게임을
shot caller
최대한
who's
많이
going
하다
to fill in
보면은
for
다
Nobles's
알아서
spot.
잘하지 않을까 이 생각으로 진짜 열심히 하고
And we
있어요.
just call everything
자,
together.
그러면
It seems
이제
like they are not having the dedicated shot caller, but shot calling all at the same time.
It's always good to share information.
붙여지고 있는데 조금 뭐 자존심이 상한다던가 뭐
And
그런 건
you know,
없었어요.
convey that as you shot call.
왜 3강 체제라
Or, you know, give
하는지 잘 모르겠어요.
Mini shot calls, kind of is what he's saying.
I don't know.
우리 아직
I don't know
시작을
why
안
they're
했어요.
calling top
아직
3.
L5 경기수가 부족하기
경기수가
때문에
얼마 안
순위가 좀
되는데.
내려오긴
We-
했는데
Our
올라가면
rank
또
is
모르죠.
down, but we
제가
still
분위기를
didn't play
만들어줘야 이게 업이
as
되는
much
거죠.
as the other
이해해
teams.
주세요.
그럼 저희가 이제 아바투르 인터뷰를 해봐야죠.
아바투르 인트로
I think
해주십시오.
we're definitely in the top 3 or
L5의
top 4
열혈
too.
팬으로서 질문드립니다. 현재 팀 전력이나 완성도에 대해서 어느 정도로 만족하시는지.
How do you think your teamwork is right now in percentage?
그거를 저한테 하기엔 좀 기존
네,
멤버한테
약간
물어봐야 될 것
질문을
같아요.
읽고 나서 보니까 SD
I think
선수네요.
for me to
네.
answer that as the new
그래서
person
이제
in the team, I
평가하기
think
좀
that's a
어렵긴 한데.
little
네, 근데
awkward
이제 그냥
actually.
L5를 상대해보고 네 이제 들어왔을 때 그냥 본인이
But of
느끼기에
course, how do you feel it
솔직히 전 시즌에
compared to last season?
마이티에서 L5를 상대했을 때 되게
And when I was
벽을
in
많이
Mighty,
느꼈어요. 근데
I thought Alpha
지금
was super
제가
strong.
만약에 마이티고 지금 저희 팀이 또 만약에 똑같이 지금 제가 있는 팀의 전력이라면은 저라도 할 거라고 생각했을 것 같아요. 그 부분이
think
되게
It
자존심
was.
상하고요.
I think the
제가
L5 right
없어진
now was the
마이티는 또
L5
잘하고
before, and I
있고
was in Mighty. I
제가 들어온 L5는
think
약해지고
we
있다고
we would have thought that it's a
특히
winnable
저는
match
되게
up
열심히
against
하고
the L5.
특히
네.
네.
자 그러면 뭐 그 부분에서 이제 뭐 L5를 좋아하신 팬들이나 이제 SD 선수를 이제 또 좋아하는 또 팬분들을 위해서 한마디 해주세요.
Of course, and of course for a lot of the fans for L5,
그냥
give it a shout out.
계속 이 말씀밖에 드릴 수가 없는데
We just continue
진짜
saying
열심히
this,
하고 있거든요.
and we're really trying
저
hard.
하루에 12시간도 넘게
Sometimes we
히로스만
practice
하는데
even more than 12
아마
hours,
게이머 중에서도 제가 제일 많이 할 것 같아요.
and
지금은.
I think I
정말
practice
많이
the
해요.
most.
아마 곧 잘해지지 않을까. 제가
And
지금은
I
많이
think it's
부족하지만
coming in
지켜봐
time that
주시면은
we're still building.
많이 하니까 잘해지지 않을까
We're practicing
생각하고
a
있고
lot,
응원
so I
많이
think
해줬으면 좋겠습니다.
It's just
자, 이제
gonna take some
마지막으로
time,
하나
and
더
we'll be a lot
질문드리겠습니다.
better soon.
남아 있는 이제 상대 팀들 중에서 좀 경계되는 팀들이
Is there any
있나요?
other team
솔직히 저는
that you think is very strong?
무슨 팀이랑 하든 방심은 하지 말자 이
Any
생각으로 해서
team that we go
어제도
against, I have the mindset that
제가
we
사실
never
수요일 날
let
예비군을
our guards
갔다가
down.
복귀를 했어요.
아 군대 다녀오셨어요?
예, 2년 차인데
이 사람은 지금 안 갔거든요.
and now they're on to the
근데
military service.
예비군 복귀하자마자
예.
7시에 집에 도착해서 8시에 스크림 잡으러
And he was on to the military service, and then he came back home, and he even he even screamed right after coming back home, and then he
그렇게
went
하고
to sleep.
있으니까
That's
그냥
how
많이
passionate he
지켜봐
is.
주셨으면 좋겠고
Remember, this guy is
많이
ex StarCraft 2 player,
알겠습니다.
TSL guinea
오늘
pig,
말씀-
so he's
오늘
been
말씀
around in the pro
감사드리고,
scene
네,
for a long
진심으로
time.
축하드리겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
네. 자
Of
다음
course,
경기에서
congrats, and
더욱더
that's
좋은 모습
SDE
보이도록 저희도
from
기대를
L5.
해보겠습니다.
Seems like
자
the
오늘의
interview
두
is
번째
over,
경기 결과 한번 확인해 보도록
and
하겠습니다.
you heard it from him. He's been practicing 12 hours a day sometimes. That's a lot of time of practice.
Yeah, he says his team practices 12 hours a day, but he thinks he plays the most out of his teammates. So pretty much it could be going over that. So he's practicing a lot, and it really shows in his play. For me, of the two new players for L5, he's the shining star that I think that they needed to replace Nitrogen. Hooligan, we are still wondering. He looked better today than he did in the match against MVP Black. Part of that, of course, with the skill difference here with RRR. But L5 takes the 3-0. Very dominant matches. Our first series was much closer, but that is going to do it for our matches tonight. We will, of course, have updated rankings for you guys as we are nearing the end of Week 3.
That's right, and of course, both teams have a lot of room, a lot of time to work on. This is with a lot of the roster changes. We're now finally seeing some top 3, top 4 teams. The lower teams, you can kind of tell which team are going to climb up a little more. Seems like MVP Miracle is having some problems, of course, with the Raven up against them, going down a little bit. But now L5 in 5th place, they only played 3 compared to all the others. And MVP Black, of course, with the win today, they will be the first, and with 4 wins and 0 losses.
Yeah, they are basically, not basically, they're the only team that's undefeated here. RRR's taken a map, and Raven as well has taken 2, but they are down at the bottom. So after tomorrow, we're really going to have the full picture as everyone will finish up their games for Week 3.
Ooh.
Blossom and L5, that should be it should be decent actually. And Tempest versus Mighty, that is going to be good.
Oh my. Match number 1, I'm excited because Blossom always brings super crazy strategies, the new strategies that we've never seen before. And I'm super excited. They can even get a series off of L5. Who knows? And match number 2, that's going to be some crazy action happening. I have no idea who's going to win that, and honestly.
The thing is, the winner of that will give us the first look into who's actually going to be number 3.
That's right.
And because for BlizzCon, Korea will send 3 teams, that's going to be very important. So it's not going to be the decider as to who's going to BlizzCon, but it's going to give us a glimpse into who that team might be as we go into the first part of our second phase.
And we haven't seen action from Tempest for a while. I think they've been really after the reverse sweep. I think they can bring in lots of action, but we're done for today, right?
That is going to be the end of our matches for today, and it's been a great night. We're going to take a 22-hour break, and we will see you guys tomorrow.